Yo, 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 let's go play some. Maybe Greg will join us after this. But I'm gonna go play some Apex while he's in Valorant. Valorant, 2 hours.
Say I'm looking to make a bit of a scene.
Ain't afraid to match but losing. That would be a drag.
I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me.
Introducing your champion.
I'm the jump master. I'll cut us a path. Weapon supply bin over there.
That.
Here we go. Ready up.
Looky here, lads. We're inside the ring.
Extra supplies over here.
There was a team that landed with us.
First blood. Good thing it's not us.
Materials, mateys.
Looks like some people have been there.
In progress.
Bang. Enemy shields broke. Reloading.
Reloading. Enemy down.
There is a new kill leader.
Reloading.
Got.
Health drone if you need it.
Reloading.
What the fuck? I'm not lifeline? What the fuck?
Enemy taken up.
Picked up some materials. Enemy shield broken.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Boy, ultimate.
Care package coming in.
Juicing me shields.
Did you get him?
Broke that enemy shield.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Check it out, fellas. New kill leader right here. here.
Crafting, but keeping focus.
Extra supplies over here. Here's your birthday present.
Phasing.
Champion eliminated.
The champion fell.
Hang on, I'm crafting. Half the squad's left.
Let's go over there.
Round 2.
Laser sight here.
Countdown.
Level 3. We're not all in the ring. Quit stuffing your jocks and move.
Attention, delivering replicator.
Here comes the replicator.
Looking for a sniper optic.
Optics here. Sniper.
Here's your birthday present.
Let's
There was
check out-
one, I think, purple over there, sniper optic.
Optics here. Sniper.
I need to
Champion eliminated.
The champion made a poor choice.
thanks.
No worries, mate. Letting rip. Gotta get shooting at me. Ah, drone bomb down.
I'll go need to kill
Attention, there is a new kill leader.
We're all inside the ring. Good.
New kill leader out there. What a go-getter.
We're in the circle. Where are we pushing to?
Gotta hop up here. Skull piercer.
Care package coming in.
Pay attention. Let's defend here.
Care package over here.
Round 3, beginning ring countdown.
Already inside the ring, fellas. Next round's on me.
Someone's here.
Replicator being delivered.
Got a replicator coming down.
Enemy over there.
Deploying me knuckle cluster. Broke that enemy shield. Reload. Took out a jungle.
Focus. Sniper.
Launching me knuckle cluster.
Watch yourself. There's another squad attacking.
Look out, grenade.
Recharging my shields.
Enough, I'm getting shot at.
Shoot an arc star. Being shot at.
Getting shot at. Recharging my shields. Void jumping.
Warning, ring closing.
Recharging my shields.
I got out of there, bro. That was bad.
Delivering care package.
You hear that? There's a care package coming down. I'm spotted, taking fire. I'm down. Let's go this way.
Round 4, beginning ring countdown.
Not all of us are in the ring. Check your
Target
maps.
that. This way, let's go.
Firing. Sniper. Going to phase. 1 second, we got this.
I didn't even know you were still alive, bro.
Deploying health drone. Just giving my shields a recharge. 45 seconds. Rings just up ahead. Not far from the ring. Half a minute.
Care package over there.
Gonna get your birthday present.
10 seconds. The ring's close. Target spotted. Getting shot at.
Warning. Ring closing.
Need to recharge my shields.
Don't come to me.
Going to phase. Might be something good this way. They spotted me. I'm taking shots. Opening fire. An enemy shield. Reloading.
I would keep moving if I were you.
1 minute. Ring's not far. Void running.
Listen up, I'm taking shots at.
Enemy down. Need to recharge my.
We got another squad, arm up. Recharging my shield.
Reloading.
Warning.
Say what?
Throw my grenade out. Frag out. This target making contact with enemy. Quick, here.
Speaking of milk products, iFixit wants you to get your frickin' ice cream when you go to McDonald's.
It's your democratic right. God give.
Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Perillo, and this is my view in Fewer Than Two. YouTube. What does it want to be? Now, I know you're thinking, well, Chris, it's YouTube. Of course, it's about video. Yeah, but what kind of video? Regular video? Live video? Short video? YouTube doesn't really know. And unfortunately, creators have
10,
to
28.
follow whatever the algorithm dictates, which is very unfortunate. It's another topic for another day. But recently, some YouTube execs have expressed concern with the recent, I don't want to say pivot, because that isn't exactly what it was, but let's say adjustments to accommodate short form video alongside longer or traditional video, then again alongside live video. They're all different beasts. So effectively, some execs at YouTube, senior, are concerned that the short form, the shorts, the TikToks on YouTube, with YouTube supporting them and promoting them and wagging their entire existence around them,
Yeah, on accident.
Google TikTok is effectively going to cannibalize traditional YouTube video, because they're moving from traditional YouTube video in, let's say, even 2 minutes is somewhat of a longer form video compared to a 60-second video clip that people are accustomed to
That's what his dumb
on
ass
TikTok or with Instagram Reels.
That nigga,
If
this is what I'm
YouTube
talking about.
continues
That's why I
down
don't
this
fuck with black
without
people
a
like
clear
that.
differentiator,
Like,
yeah,
What
a
happened?
lot's at risk. Not have expressed concern
that nigga
about
Wyclef
YouTube
Cyrus was on the
not
internet flexing $1,000
really
haircut.
knowing
Like a few
what
years
it
ago,
wants to
a couple years
optimize
ago
for, and
actually.
creators
Now this
being
nigga
caught
out
in
here
the middle.
fucking broke, so he
Do we do live video?
paying,
Do
so
we
he
do
telling
regular
people to
video, short
come
video? Like,
to him for a
what do we,
haircut,
well,
and
you
then
can
he
do it all.
bouncing
No,
around
no,
the
you
haircut.
can't.
Not even
That's
paying
not how
him. Like,
YouTube works,
why
at
would
least as
you
far as
do
the
that?
creator's concerned. So YouTube
Like, why would
execs
you do that? You
are
over here fucking
sounding still
$1,000
arms
haircuts, and now
about
y'all
these
can't afford to
shorts
pay for them.
effectively cannibalizing
Man,
traditional
dude.
YouTube. And I don't really think they're wrong because,
Like,
yeah,
in a
YouTube
$1,000
is
haircut, you gotta be fucking retarded. You gotta be retarded.
Today we're benchmarking CPUs at Starfield, and this content became a lot more interesting than just a CPU benchmark. Actually, the CPU benchmarks were done in one really long day, but we added a bunch more time to start exploring GPU busy, which is the new frame time metric, my table's off, that we were talking about with Tom
Like, I
Peterson
wanna know,
previously.
like they
Very
gotta be
exciting for the
paid
potential
to
paradigm
doing
shift
stupid shit.
for some of the
Like, you can't-
representation
like,
of
there's no
data
logical
in
explanation for that,
game
bro.
and component benchmarks. So massive disclaimer
In a
here.
$1,000
This is a
haircut.
brand new type of data that we are
This nigga
presenting.
said he was
The
getting them
charts
every-
are
every-
new,
every other
and what we're learning from them is new. That means, as we continue
Oh,
down the busy more to try and diagnose how games behave, it's possible and maybe even likely that our presentation of the data changes, or that
Bro,
our
your haircut
understanding
even
of it,
work?
or the sort of weighting of different aspects
You
of it change.
fucking mind?
For today, though, we feel pretty good about where it set us up and what it
No,
tells us
just
about
wealthy.
Starfield specifically. So we're going to start with the ratio first. The chart looks kind of like
Did you just
this.
say
Or at least this is what we think it'll look like as we continue
That's
down
not
this
my
path.
name.
After we walk through this chart, we're going to show you some of these charts, which are frame time charts, but with GPU busy. We think this will make it easier to absorb the data points. One very important thing. The ratio chart, there is no bet. That's a little different here. It's not like frame rate, where bigger bar better. It's a little more nuanced, because ultimately what the ratio we're showing is, it looks at the split between total time spent rendering a frame and the time that the GPU is specifically busy in that process. And so the closer those numbers are to each other, to a 1.0 maximum value for ratio, the more work your GPU is doing. Likewise, though, the
You gotta invite
CPU will
me.
be potentially underutilized. You are always going to have a bottleneck. It is unavoidable. It's the nature of how anything works in a computer. So there's no technical benefit. In other words, if
I
you're
ain't
more
trying to do
GPU
nothing. I'm
bound,
trying to connect you
is
with
that
your
better to you?
friend.
Well, it depends on
Then
if
y'all
you
said
feel
my
like
friend
it's
don't like
better to fully leverage your
Game. Why
GPU
would
at the
why
expense
would I
of some
tell
other
my friend
resources
game you
being
don't like
limited by the GPU. And ultimately, we always just look for balance.
That means I'm a
And there's a lot more going on within the frame that we can't see yet either, but that's still to come. This chart shows the ratio of total frame time against GPU busy time. Again, the max value is 1.0. In this chart, the closer the blue bar is to 1.0, the more GPU utilization or reliance we're seeing. And we called Tom Peterson, the engineer from Intel, who joined us to sort of talk about this open source tool previously, to ask him if that understanding made sense, and he agreed. Although
My question is,
foundation
what's
for
up
something
with that
useful.
here? He put
This
in the
first
chat
chart is for the
the game
13100 app at 1080p
There you
low.
go.
It's just a snapshot with 500 frames from the test. More frames to work with, but we limited the x-axis to make it easier to read. The average FPS for the entire set of 4
That's what he
passes
said to me.
came out to 81.8 out of a maximum on this GPU
Oh,
of
man,
about
and then
145.
do a
The
game
distance between red and blue lines indicates that in this chart at least, we're CPU bound. The GPU is not fully occupied during the creation of these frames, and it has time that it's waiting on the CPU. Let's go to the opposite viewpoint. Here is the 13900 below. We're using a much the lines are now almost ratio. This indicates higher than with the 31 left, which makes sense. Because of 49, the overlap tells us that we may not be able to see a fully decoupled frame rate out of the 13900K at 1080p low, because we're still at least occasionally hitting a GPU blind, although it's still kind of scaling at the top of the charts. So what this really helps do is frame our writing around the result, so we can now more confidently make statements about where the binds lie for a certain test condition. And we'll be testing with 1080p low.
Are you two okay over there? Jesus Christ.
Both the
If you were on
extreme
vacation,
CPU isolated case, like
somebody
maybe
kept
unlikely
calling you
because
and
both
got
was
mad 'cause you
trash,
didn't
and of
pick
course
up,
we never
would you
played
be
1080p
irritated?
low with the components that represent the top of the chart, and we'll show 1080p high, something a little more realistic, where we'll be bound at the top on the GPU, but we can still see scaling. So anyway, what those charts show us is that the 13.9 may be able to stretch a little further and distance itself from the rest of the pack if only it had a GPU that doesn't exist right now. But we can also show that with easier settings for the GPU. Here, the 3900K at 720p low, which we recognize is a completely stupid combination of things, but it's useful academically just to kind of get a better understanding of this. It's now establishing a gap between the GPU busy and the frame time lines. This reinforces our earlier newfound understanding. The lower the ratio, the lower the GPU utilization, at least today in this text. The higher the ratio, or the closer to a 1-to-1, the higher the GPU utilization. Let's look at one last chart. This is the 13900K at 1080p Ultra, so we're at the opposite end now. We are definitely GPU bound, and here the lines are effectively right on top of each other. The ratio for this result was 0.99. It's effectively fully GPU dependent. So this stuff is crazy cool. The team here is I think we're all super excited about it for the same reason. Because it's a potential paradigm shift in the making for component benchmarking for not just reviewers, but even to the stuff as a consumer too, and try to more easily identify where your limitations are. If you really care about tweaking the settings and you enjoy that, this is another tool you can use to maximize that process and get something out of it at the end. So we're excited to see how this manifests as the industry adopts this. And on our side, we're already planning to integrate it going forward with additional reviews and game benchmarks. It really makes sense for specific game testing. But the settings on the chart, it feels like they need to be the same right now, because otherwise the ratios don't really mean anything. It's kind of useless if you're not controlled, the settings on the chart, because again, there's no higher isn't best. It just indicates what buying. Whether you care about CPU or the GPU being loaded, it's kind of just a matter of taste and how much you want your one component you've invested in versus the other to be loaded. Now let's consider the RAM possibility. On this front, this is a theory that BuildZoid posted after seeing some CPU tests from another outlet. I think it was PC Games Hardware. And the simple stuff first, for our test today, just to make this immediately clear, we're not memory limited in the CPU benchmark that we're working our way towards, or at least not meaningfully so, as compared to some other limitations that we have, which we're going to show you. And there are always going to be limitations to make sure that we're always following somebody. So we did see some other numbers where I think with PC Games Hardware, as I said, used very low-end memory. They indicated DDR5 44.
You guys were both down like little bitches.
In that instance, yes, that will be.
I put in all the work, nigga.
Pretty low in memory.
Still valid.
3-on-1, you guys are fucking way in front of me. That's your fault. You outran your coverage. You outran your coverage. Don't get mad at me. Running and crying about needing me to come help you.
Meaningful change for our test setup. All we care about here is eliminating as much of the bottleneck as possible on things other than
fucking
the CPU.
slut.
So here's the chart at 1080p high with a 3900K. As you can see, compared to our 720p chart we showed earlier, we are limited in frame rate, and the, again, traditional understanding is that this is a GPU utilization issue. But memory didn't affect our results outside run-for-run variance here, although once again, we didn't use that many kits. Here's a 1080p low chart. We didn't do any tuning here. Our standard kit is the DDR5 6000 Corsair one at 30, 36, 36, 76, which we use in our CPU reviews and tests. As you can see, it was within run-to-run variance of the DDR5 6400 kit at 32, 38, 38, 76. We also have a custom V-color kit that the company gave us when we visited previously. As far as we're aware, it doesn't have an existing SKU on the market, but that's at DDR5 7000, 38, 48, 48, 126. We were within error of the prior two kits. We had one more test with this kit at DDR5 5600. This is worse than our standard Corsair kit. That's because after seeing no change in the prior tests, we decided to leave the looser timings and then just tank the frequency to see what happens. And here we did get movement, and a lot of it. But what really matters is that for our CPU benchmarks today, we don't appear to be memory bound, or at least not on the kit we're using. As for the SK Hynix kit, for that, Jeremy on the team manually configured it at DDR5 6400 and 34, 40, 40, 84. This is a dual rank kit, so we used it just in case. Ultimately, although a technically higher frame rate, it fell within our usual run-to-run variance. So we spent a couple hours working with BuildZoid on the next idea to show what could be going on. And although memory still can be a factor in testing, it does not appear to be a limiting one in our testing. So we began looking elsewhere, and he suggested a few ideas. First was disabling hyperthreading, which sometimes that improves performance, depends on the game. Next was disabling E-cores, and then additionally overclocking the 13900K towards 6 gigahertz. We settled at 5.9 for something quick and easy. So we tried each of these independently. This testing was done with our SK Hynix kit, which is different from what we're using later in the charts. This testing is also done with 50% scaling against 1080p with FSR2, which is abominably low as a resolution, and some of the worst visuals we've ever seen in the game. But it's intentional. We wanted to ensure we were definitely not GPU limited. Here's the chart. Our baseline result with these settings was 147.9 FPS average. Disabling hyperthreading didn't affect the average frame rate.
How the fuck do I get put in Wraith again?
So we'd have to run it.
I don't want to be Wraith! Ever!
The 5.9 gigahertz with hyperthreading off boosted us to 150.
How is Wraith my fucking second option?
Stock of 5.1%. So it appears we're
How is this all pulled off? What the fuck, man?
Us to 156.1 FPS average.
Don't understand this
but
fucking
possibly an improvement. Disabling E-cores hurt the
bullshit.
below stock, even in spite of the overclock, although it's possible that E-cores...
Oh my god, how are you raised up that high too? Oh my god, then you're gonna fall, then you're gonna do this, then you're gonna be a bitch.
Improvement over
Whoa.
4090 as we saw in the earlier tests, so about 3.7%. The improvement over baseline indicates that we were CPU clock limited, and overclocking helps here again. We did learn one thing though, which is that we were definitely clock bound at the upper end of the results. And now it's time to get at the CPU benchmarks we've been promising and that we originally set out to do. It was a long journey to get here. This was supposed to be a very simple video. In fact, this part was done in like a day. It was a long day, but it got done fast. So remember that these are accurate as tested, regardless of the game or the driver's issues right now. These still give you insight as to how it performs. We expect this will change
that was a
as
stupid ass drop.
and or well, actually definitely Bethesda. Patch they can
That was a stupid ass drop, but I'm just gonna die.
reviewing this weeks or months in the future, check back. We'll probably have other benchmarks. They might be buried in a CPU or a GPU review though, and that'll be where we have newer data. Okay, here's the chart where we got the most scaling, but at the least realistic settings, and that's fine.
God.
We're starting with pure scaling at 1080p low.
Can you
This
not?
helps people on older hardware have a better idea for their limitations, and most of this hardware is going to be limited by CPU, not the other components, even with all the oddities, especially true for the older stuff. And here with DDR4 is on our prior CPU test methodology kit that we've previously shown to be a strong performer. That's a 3200 to 1414 kit. At 1080p low, we're starting to become limited at the 13900K level, with the 13700K occasionally hitting that limit. This would be boosted with an overclock, as we saw earlier. The R7 2700 establishes the floor at 54 FPS average with these settings, and to bring attention to a few other older mainstays, users of the 3600, 3700X, and more modern 5600 and 5600X have plenty to gain if running on lower settings or overpowered on the GPU. X3D CPUs don't appear to offer as much of an advantage as we've seen in other games, with the 7800 X3D capping out at 124 FPS average, leading the 7700X by 15%. The 7950 X3D struggles with its usual oddities, despite using the core parking behaviors and the specialized OS setup that we detailed in our review.
Kill leader.
It's okay, but not scaling for the price. For some other comparisons, the R7 5800 X3D leads the 5600X by 20%, the 13600K leads the 7700X by about 10%, and the 13900K leads the 13600K by about 18%, at least until we start becoming limited. Let's move on to the realistic but GPU limited setting. At 1080p high, we've lost about 22 FPS average off the 13900K ceiling, and we've truncated the 13700K in the process. There's also a 13900K with a 7900X CX on here, where we gained about 3.7%, similar number to before. But again, we use the 4090 for our test because this is a standard CPU review GPU that we use. In other words, for all our CPU reviews, this is what we use. And given the general proximity, we still get the most scaling here while still being able to remain consistent for your CPU test suite. The 13600K and down have lost some frame rate from the average, but overall, we were CPU bound before, and we remain CPU bound now for those CPUs. Compared to other modern titles, we're definitely running at a relatively low frame rate for 1080p, and that's especially true considering there's no ray tracing. This game is heavy, and there probably is a lot of room for optimization, both at the driver level and the game and engine level. That's especially because the game engine...
I just started. I literally just got back here.
Well, not
Why did you drop
It's a
so
quick
high?
validation task at the
Just
beginning of all this
started
work.
with an
Against that 700X, yeah.
It means I was not in this room when you got. Oh my god. Really? You don't know what that means?
Even at a ridiculous 700
I'm not gonna go. Yes, yes, exactly. I was fixing a camera, you fuck. Why did you drop so fucking hot?
Either one would be fine.
Cool, bro. You dropped hot, you died, and now you're complaining to me because you need me. I'm sorry that you need me so bad. See what? What? See me come rescue you? What am I, your hero? I'm your hero today. Okay, yeah, I am playing. Goodbye.
Stuff with the 4090 for all the tasks unless listed otherwise.
Does it sound like it? Are you listening to this guy?
Sounds like you're shocked that you have some interaction.
So just wrapping all this up as quickly
Wow,
as we can,
okay,
flip to
cool.
the two main charts that matter the most for CPU comparisons in terms of scaling. A couple things we learned. First of all, at the very top end, you can definitely be clock bound. There's some benefit to overclocking to be had.
God damn it. Are you
For
upset?
older CPUs, there's a lot more to gain from an OC because you're likely
Why don't
to
you
be a lot
just
more
leave and take a
CPU bound.
penalty?
So the game, generally speaking, is very GPU heavy. You start getting into 1440p or higher.
Why don't you not die?
Even
And then you don't have to complain to me about
more
it.
likely that you're GPU bound than not.
Oh, is that why? You needed to rely on someone else. Cool.
3700X.
It's 3v3, my guy. What do you expect?
Something like a 12,
I expect you to be better than that.
We had a fucking teammate. We thought we had someone.
You decided to drop hot. That's on you. Is that what I was doing? No, I don't think that's what I was
We
doing.
think if you have it
Wow,
yet,
okay, you're a
it's a good
weirdo. I'm not even
time
gonna
to
pick you up
overclock
now.
it, because
Congratulations.
you can actually get some clock scaling benefit here. For people who are considering new purchases, a couple takeaways. We saw in modern architectures, there's some core count scaling between, say, 6-core and 8-core CPU. It's not huge, but it exists. There is some benefit there, that's speaking to AMD specifically. Then on Intel, you'll get 13.9, 13.7. You are more likely to start bouncing off of a GPU limit because
Okay, you're not getting picked
probably
up.
not
Have a
playing
good
at
night.
1080 low or something. If you're using a 1300K, you're probably trying to push the graphics a little bit, or your system would be wildly imbalanced for component selection. So, factoring that into consideration, if you're playing at, say, 1080p high, 1440 plus, with any reasonable settings, then the 13.7, the 13.9, they're going to be very close to each other so as to be functionally the same. More GPU limited in that scenario. The 13.6 is actually pretty close to them as well. There's more graphics intensive load scenarios. So really, we see the most scaling at the older or the lower end of the stack. And then finally, the GPU busy part is just sort of cool. It's different, it's new information that we haven't presented before, and we're really excited about where we can go with it because it gives us some more insight to how things are behaving in the system. The ratio thing, we got to figure out where to best leverage that, but it's starting to make sense. Like, it's starting to click for us. I can see that there's something there. And we're on the way to
How
it.
retarded of that was it when you guys died and I had to rescue
a
you?
while for frame times to really catch on.
Have you played the game before?
It'll take the same sort of effort here with GPU Busy, but it's pretty cool stuff so far, and we're super excited about it. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. As always, you can go to store.gamersx.net.
It's okay, little buddy. You're
Grab one
back.
of our GM15 mod maps. They are on
Good
the
luck.
store. You can get them right now. They have a bunch of new icons and the new GN15 logo, plus some new diagrams for helping you with PC builds. And otherwise, subscribe for more. You go to patreon.com/gamersnexus to throw us a few bucks if you find these types of videos helpful. And we'll see you all next time.
Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman. I thought I would do a quick channel update to talk about some things that I'm doing on another channel, NSF, otherwise known as NASASpaceflight.com. You may have heard my voice already on a few of their live streams. And I spent the last couple of days down in Florida touring launch pads and watching rockets take off. And I was hanging out with Das there on the left-hand side of the picture, along with Max and Kevin. And wow, was it a great adventure. I've got all sorts of cool stuff to show you, so let's get to it. And this whole thing came about in a rather interesting way. As many of you know, I've been very frustrated with how the YouTube algorithm has been working lately. So anytime I veer off in a slightly different direction, even in a launch pad there as well. And then later that evening, we went out to the Kennedy Space Center to cover the launch of Crew 7 to the International Space Station on board a SpaceX rocket and Dragon spacecraft. And one of the fun highlights of the evening beyond the launch was watching the astronauts drive by in those Teslas that they put them in. So you can see that happening here right in front of me, where I was helping out the NSF crew with their coverage of the event. I hosted a good portion of it, and I'll put a link to the coverage in the video description down below.
What's great about the NSF team is that they are so knowledgeable, and I have a lot of questions, which I pepper them with throughout the entire stream. So I'm learning a lot here as I contribute to the cause. So that was a lot of fun. The launch was amazing. This was my.
You cut your hair, man. You look different. Oh, you look cute.
You know what? It's like lazy in that movie, you know. You know, geez, you're not that big. You have to piss me off to watch it grow. But Robin, I love you. I'm a big fan of you. I'm a big fan.
Thanks, Rowdy.
God bless.
You still going by Rowdy or
no? Rowdy. You know, the Rowdy was just. Nothing was premeditated in my career. I didn't come up with a name. I came fifth in the world. First time I fought professionally, the pipe band played me in the ring, and my first name was Roderick. The announcer just knew that. He didn't know I was a substitute. He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Roddy the Piper," and that just got dropped. And
but you in your new book, you talk about Vince McMahon in not a flattering way.
Yeah, I love to hate him.
You hate him.
No, I don't hate him. I don't hate him.
All right, so let me read you what you said. You talking about this. Okay. The following are quotes from Roddy on Vince McMahon and the state of wrestling. All right. I want to get wrestling back on track. What Vince McMahon forgets is he didn't make wrestling, his dad did. And that's true. His father started the whole, wrestling business.
I think maybe even his grandfather.
Right. So what is it that he's doing wrong? What do you mean get back to?
I'm not a purist.
Right.
Punching a tunnel.
So you turn on the wrestling, and he's got the Vince McMahon kiss my ass club. And as he pulls the back of his pants down, he wiggles his bum cheeks and he says, "Look, my ass even does tricks." I thought to myself, "No, I've known that for 3
My portal's
years."
good to go through. Oh, you guys are coming. Here he is.
No, it's true what they're doing.
So you hate the fact.
Okay.
But isn't the WWF always about theatrics, and isn't it about shocking, and isn't it about But you're saying the storylines used to be better, more broad?
No, first of all, there were no storylines. I've never had a storyline in my life.
You never handed a script when you were a wrestler?
There's one time in the WCW, the referee came with a fax to me and said, "You get into the ring, the referee calls us together, he gives instructions, and rings the bell." Well, what the hell did you think was going to happen? Until the bell, because I can't make no money.
That was the only script that you got.
I threw it back at the guy. No, the art of wrestling is...
but you always knew ahead of time who would win.
No, the only thing that was known was they wanted a common ending, whatever that was. How you got there, that's the magic of the wrestling.
It's up to you to be spontaneous.
Yeah, that's where the improv comes.
There's too much scripting and too much acting.
Absolutely. Wrestling, as in New York said to me when I did They Live, if you ever thought wrestling was acting, you're wrong.
Yeah, now why don't you start your own wrestling? What happened to you? I mean, you were big. You were doing your own show. You were like the Kiner's Corner of wrestling. What happened? What happened? Was there a falling out?
No, I'll tell you what. When WrestleMania 3 in the Silverdome, 93,000 people, John Carpenter asked me to leave. Vince McMahon Jr. got mad at
10
me.
seconds to the ring.
She said, "I'll have
Picking myself up.
we said, now with John Carpenter directing." So he sent a message via my lawyer. Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon are the only true blue WWF.
The falling out really occurred when you got offered your movie. And Vince said to you, "Don't do the movie, I'll put you in a movie." Because you didn't comply with that, you're allowed to pay. And so therefore you become persona non grata, you can't come back to WWF.
Well, you let your own chosen speed to go faster on.
Did you say to Vince, "Listen, Vince, I just want to do the film, I love the WWF, I want to talk rationally here, I don't want to be out," but he would not hear you?
Yes, and also a few days ago, I FedEx spoke to Vince, and as nice a letter as I could put, saying this to him after life, Vince, I don't want anything from you. You're leaving, you're way off. I gotta make it real plain. I was a sick.
How many times did you die?
You seem like a crazy guy.
When you took your medication,
Are you on any medication? You have to take
Package over there.
Not gonna take medicine.
No, I've done that one too. Remember, there was a steroid investigation, and
You admit to taking steroids, right?
Sure. Yeah. Of course I did.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with it. No. You know, one of the things the government used to do in those steroid things, testosterone, they would put, "This does not enhance athletic ability." This is your government jerking with the kids. Well, we knew it did. So right away, that discredited anything the government ever said.
Right.
Does not enhance athletic ability. This is your government jerking with the kids. Well, we knew it did. So right away, that discredited anything the government ever said.
Right.
Then they took that label off it, and so they're still trying to, so, you know, does it or does it not? Well, now they say it does. So quit messing with
Yeah,
it.
you should be able to take it if it doesn't enhance athletic ability.
No, well, depending if you can't get a hard on or not. You know, with this
Did
option.
it stop you from getting aroused?
No, you know what? Give me 4 kids. Absolutely.
Testosterone stop you.
When you took steroids, did your nuts get smaller?
After the cycle goes through the 6-week cycle and the synthetic wears off, your nuts get smaller, and you got to take a thing called gonadotropin, I think it's called, which is like a female hormone which balances things back.
Right.
Good lord.
It's tricky chemistry. And I can even see in your wrist, you broke your wrist, you won't have it fixed because they say you won't be able to play the bagpipes again.
How did you know that?
I read your book.
Wow, you did it?
Yeah.
Honest God, if anybody's going to be doing honest stuff, what you did.
It's really honest. It's good.
Never in from my heart.
So the point is, when it comes to wrestling and Vince McMahon, you'd like to see a loosening up of the strings where every word isn't scripted, where Vince isn't in charge of everything.
I told you I sent Vince a book, and the note it says basically this: clean up the sexual part, and I'll get you right back on track with the wrestling. I don't have no problem with it. If you don't, then I officially declare that wrestling is dead.
Catch me if you can.
Last Thursday, I made a video saying that space exploration in Starfield isn't what people thought. I made that video based on a lot of questions I got where people definitely missed information from Bethesda. People were asking me if you can land on a planet or take off from a planet, fly to another planet. The answer is no. You cannot. And myself and seemingly quite a few other people had incorrectly assumed that when you land in space in Starfield, before you fast travel to a planet or open up your scanner to drop you into the landing animation on a planet, that you were just in a small skybox that would not move you in any direction whatsoever, you would never get close to a planet, or that you would eventually hit like an out-of-bounds wall and you wouldn't be able to go any further. Again, both of those things are incorrect. But I ended up not being 100% sure, and wanted to test it. So I did what any sane person would do, and spent 7 hours flying to Pluto. Now the reason I picked Pluto, despite it technically not being a planet, I know it is not functionally going to act any differently than Starfield, because it's not going to be like, well, Pluto's not a planet, let's design that differently. I chose Pluto because when you drop in orbit around a planet before you fast travel to it, it was like the shortest distance. Another part of the reason that I chose Pluto instead of choosing Earth was because Earth's orbit was way too fast. It was so difficult for me to keep up with how fast Earth was moving. That was the first one that I tried, but Earth would just disappear from view if I was flying straight super quickly. Pluto, while it would still shift in and out of frame in about an hour, was much, much slower and thus much more achievable. I didn't have to stay awake the entire time. I finished actually playing the game for a few hours and then went to bed and left Starfield running. But there were hiccups, several of them. Several things that I found to be unexpected challenges in getting to Pluto / seeing if we could get to Pluto. Now it pretty quickly became obvious that we were actually getting to Pluto as Pluto was getting bigger. So that part was proving to be worth it. Pluto was getting larger in the screen, bit by bit. And the kilometer distance to Pluto was slowly counting down. Space with one engine upgrade. Not bad. I don't imagine the game is clearly not designed for you to actually be able to do this. It isn't actually functional. Did I get to Pluto? Technically, yes. Did I really get to Pluto? No. You'll see. But I don't imagine, no matter how fast your ship is or what engine upgrades you get, that this is ever going to be a feasible part of the game. It is clearly not the best. But all planets in Starfield solar systems have orbits, which I think is so unbelievably cool. So the way I figured this out is that as I was flying towards Pluto for a certain amount of time, eventually the sphere that is Pluto, even though I was centered right in the middle of the planet, would shift out of it. I think it started bottom right, and then I was just so surprised they had factored in orbits. Like, what a cool thing to discover, despite it making this process really annoying for me. I expected to be able to go to sleep and set an alarm for 7 hours later, which is like what I had figured it would take. It seemed like, I think it was every 50 kilometers was about 15 minutes. So I had to set an alarm for every 30 minutes to readjust my ship to make sure that we wouldn't go way out of Pluto's orbit and then accidentally overshoot it or like head in the wrong direction, which actually did start happening at one point. Because of that setup, because I had to set an alarm for every 30 minutes, instead of just leaving my Xbox running here in my office, I took the controller into my bedroom, put the stream on my screen in my bedroom, and so was occasionally waking up and adjusting it with maximum latency because I was watching the delay of the stream and trying to readjust the ship. It's like clearly very weird movement because not only was I not in the same room as the Xbox, I don't think that actually would have caused much issue. Like I played in movie theaters before. The Xbox is like in a projection room. That doesn't seem to cause problems. It was the stream delay that caused the issue, so I was adjusting live on Twitch, very difficult every 30 minutes, and occasionally my controller would disconnect even though I had it plugged in, which I guess was happening because I was not connected to my Xbox, I was connected to a power outlet. There was one part where I slightly overslept, and I think the controller was disconnected for like a good several minutes, and people were like panicking in the chat. It was one of the worst sleeps I've ever had. Didn't expect that to be part of it. Also, sorry if you can hear my dog chewing a phone in the background. But as we got closer, woke up in the morning, splashing water on my face, ready to face Pluto, we finally actually got there. One of the wildest things about this is that even while I was asleep, streaming nothing but space, which by the way I was also sleeping too, right? It is actually really calming. The only downside is that I have one crewmate on my ship who would occasionally cough. Other than that, it's very peaceful. There were like 4,000 people watching while I was asleep. Nuts. So, when we actually got to Pluto, as we start to get closer and the planet is at the point where it's taking up the whole screen, it's just either white or it's black, depending on which way it is facing the sun, which again, the whole orbit thing, very, very, very cool. However,
Are you trying to craft our buddy?
You are definitely not supposed to be this close. I mean, why would anyone do this in this game anyway? It's insane. And there are a lot of people who have different opinions about like, oh, what it's realistic. What did you expect from space travel? Versus like, it's a video game, so you should be able to travel and it should be fun. I think I'm in the camp of people of like, the point of this game, especially now that I've played a lot more of it, is that it's an RPG and it's about talking to people. It's not really a space exploration game, and that's okay. But how you feel about that is how you feel about that. So we get there. The resolution's terrible, clearly not designed for you to be this close, and then as I get very, very, very close to the surface, like a few meters away, you start to see
There's
the
a lot of
headlights
people
the
there.
ship
You
show up
can't
on
go
the
there,
planet,
bro.
so it's like a big white light. Ooh. It was flat. Pluto confirmed flat. Flat Earth! We just went right through it! Wait, but it still says 0. Hang on, am I inside Pluto? What happens if I turn around? I'm gonna turn around with my engines also not actually moving. Just to see if there's any sign of Pluto behind me. We're inside of Pluto. We're definitely inside of Pluto. Now how long does it now take to get out of Pluto? Do I just live here now? So we have confirmed that things in space are physically where they say they are. How long will it take me to get in? Does anyone know the diameter of Pluto? How long will it take me to get out? Pluto is literally the distance we traveled to get to Pluto. I'm moving. Well, we can confirm that I'm moving if we look at something else, right? Is there anything? But they're too far away. Okay, yeah, see. Sharon is moving. So, I am moving inside Pluto. Flying against the orbit will cut the time down.
Give my shields a recharge.
Not come into Pluto and not see what it looks like to get out of Pluto. That would be absurd. And then no noise, no impact. As cool as I think it would be if they
Need a mobile respawn
we
beacon?
actually just clipped straight through the planet and everything became invisible. This is not actually that uncommon in game development to not have anything matched inside of a sphere, but confirmed it is a sphere. It is not flat. It is probably a rotating sphere that is also in orbit, which again I think is like super cool. But you go inside the planet and it says 0 to Pluto, and it said that for as long as I flew. I think it flew maybe like another 15 minutes in one direction and didn't get any further. I didn't get out of Pluto because it is just a big empty sphere. And it is big, and I suspect perfectly to scale with every other hollow sphere of a planet inside of the solar system. And this is how I imagine they have done every single solar system. What I don't think you can do, and I still don't know because it would take, I would test it, but it would take 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours. I don't think you can fly between systems. If Pluto is the furthest out of the Sol system, I don't suspect that you can fly from Sol to another system. That said, it's possible, and the reason that I think this is even possible is that having a bunch of spheres that don't actually have anything on them and are actually very low resolution and you're seeing them from really far away is actually not that intensive for a video game. That's actually not that difficult. I mean, there are so many of them, but really they're just a bunch of images. Again, I think the orbits is what makes it a lot cooler. But it's not actually
What do you
that
need, buddy?
hard to have a whole bunch of these planets because they're just not very resource intensive. So I don't suspect, again, that you can fly between solar systems, but you may be able to. I don't know that anyone will achieve that without modding. The second part of that is I also still don't know if you can fly from Pluto's orbit.
What do you
to
need,
another
buddy?
planet's orbit. So like I said, we spawned outside of Pluto intentionally and then flew towards Pluto. I don't know if you can spawn outside of Pluto, like fast travel to outside of Pluto and then fly to the next nearest planet, or like fly to Earth. I don't know if there are separate instances for these planets, but I suspect that you can. I suspect that you can get closer to each planet in every individual solar system. Again, it's weird to call it a planet when really it is a empty sphere. And eventually we figured that it was a sphere because I flew out of it. So I flew straight towards Pluto, flew through it, and then hooked a left because I figured because of the orbit of the planet I would come out a little bit faster if I went left.
ISMOKE 1985 says,
the distance that I traveled to get to Pluto is the same distance that the inside of Pluto would have been. So it would have taken another 7 hours to get out. But yes, I hooked a left and eventually popped out of Pluto, and weirdly, yeah, Pluto started to tuck under me because of the orbit. So the reason I think orbits exist, which again, very cool, was delighted to discover that here, is so that when you are standing on any of these planets, every other planet in the solar system is accurately moving. So if you're on a planet that doesn't have light pollution, whatever, you can see all of space, you can see every other planet, they are actually
ISMOKE
moving around
1985
in their
says,
correct
we got
patterns.
zoned.
So the purpose is not to visit these planets, the purpose is to, when you're on a planet, see the other planets moving in space. That's why I think Todd Howard in one of the presentations said, see the moon, it's actually there. While that is technically correct, the moon is actually there and that you could take off and fly to it and cut through it. It is an object that exists in space within the solar system with every other planet orbiting. So no, clearly it is not designed for you to actually visit planets. There is no landing animation, you can't fly to a planet and then land on it like you can in No Man's Sky. They did say that from the start. But you can get up very, very, very close and then eventually go inside of the planet. It is technically possible. You are moving through space. The game is just definitely not designed for you to do that. And honestly, one of the first things that I wanted to try when even booting up Starfield was flying into the sun just to see what would happen. I suspect the here, but the problem is the sun is so far away. It took me 7 hours to get from Pluto's orbit to Pluto, and you can't spawn near the sun at all. I would have to spawn in the orbit of the nearest planet. Again, 1,000 years. It would take so long to get there. But thank you to everybody who joined me on this fun journey of flying for 7 hours. Of science. If you are really moving in space, what the objects in space actually do. I think an explosion animation would have been really cool, and that's maybe a cool mod, but more than anything, I took away that, while very inconvenient for the purposes of my experiment, the fact that it orbits is so neat.
Speaking of milk products, I fix it once you to get your frickin' ice cream when you go to McDonald's.
It's your democratic right, God-given in the Constitution.
What else is America all about if not getting ice cream when you...
Freedom. Liberty for all. Ice cream when I go to McDonald's.
iFixit has traditionally cared about companies that make tech products.
Yes.
And now, all of a sudden, they decided that they care about ice cream.
What is wrong with
wrong
you?
way, to be honest.
The ice cream?
Pick a lane.
You should probably not put ice cream.
Andrew got me killed. Great job.
It's not good. Speaking of milk products.
But seriously, it is a real problem that McDonald's restaurants all over North America consistently have broken or out of order ice cream machines.
Yeah.
And This the reason for this has been explored thoroughly by many people who have done that.
You're dumb as fuck. You stole my shit and you died. What a dumb piece of shit you are.
Do something about this.
That is correct.
And you know a bit more about this than I do, Jacob, because you prepared the notes for this episode. So what's happening?
TLD dubs on what's wrong with the ice cream machines is so McDonald's has a partnership with this company called Taylor.
Dad, I don't fucking care.
In this segment of the Shoot Interview series with Bobby the Brain Heenan, he's asked about the Ultimate Warrior. Specifically, he talks about how Andre the Giant had his dealings with Ultimate Warrior and did not care for him whatsoever. And also, Bobby Heenan talks about his dealings personally with his matches with the Ultimate Warrior as well, and how Ultimate Warrior basically had no respect for the business. Let's get right to it.
With the Ultimate Warrior, it was hard to work on angle with him because he didn't know how to work. He didn't understand the business. Oh, his story. Andre used to understand the business. Oh, his story. Andre used to like to be clotheslined, but he wanted to step out about a foot from the ropes. So when you hit him, he could take a step back and tie himself. Well, the Warrior would come like 200 miles an hour and just hit him as hard as he could, which would never bother him. I would hear Andre go, I knew something was going to happen down there. Next night, same spot. Third night, here comes the Warrior. 200 miles an hour. Just as he gets there, Andre goes, puts the hand up, which is like this, right? He stops and closes, cracks the paint, he grabs the rope, almost goes down, doesn't know where he's at. Next night, here he comes. Being hungry, walks on me, goes, keep learning. Ultimate Warrior. I was talking about him earlier. Look at a spot one night when I jumped up. Oh, he was going to clothesline me. I said, no. Instead of clothesline me, nail me, and then post me. If I had a bad neck, that way I could do the best I could for you and the prep. Right. I jump up, he came out of nowhere, this waffle face on the floor. I could dress him, I asked him, I said, how come? He said, I never know where I'm going to be. I said, well, then I never know where I'm going to be. See, they don't understand it. Their whole character, their whole image is the ultimate this. I could make him look like a piece of crap so easy. All I had to do was say, slam me in the ring, cover me. I could have killed his hero. I could have hit me with a clothesline and looked at him. But they don't realize they're vulnerable and we don't. They don't realize that. And the fans don't deserve that. They deserve to have entertainment. I buried my mother, my grandmother, and my loved ones with the money I made off this business. So I owe them something. That's the truth. You can't look at them as marks, as kayfabe. No. There are people that get out of line. People are relatives get out of line. Relatives are like fish, the 2 days you sink. Huh. And remember, friend in need, the best. But no, fans are, they feed us. They do.
Okay, but it was linked to me. I'm lucky that of course Django, and I do not know what this is. Okay, I don't know what it is. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little concerned about what it could possibly be, but I suppose that we're about to find out. So let's see.
Optics here. Sniper.
Optics here. Close range.
I need a
Do you guys just not like me? Like, just be honest at this point. What is this?
Anita Brittany Gonzalez was born in 1982 in a small village on the outskirts of Guadalajara, Mexico. As a child, Sinna's dream was to join the mariachi band.
My dad totally watching this right now because he might have clicked on my stream to see if I was trying to see it, and my dad is probably like, "What is going? There's no way you're serious. You are not real."
But all that changed when she and her family moved to the United States to live the American dream. More specifically, they moved to Virginia, famous for being the birthplace of George Washington and Twitch streamer Dante. Growing up, Sinna was seen as the loser of her family and got constantly bullied by pretty much everybody. Her siblings, cousins, classmates, and even teachers, mainly because of her wonky eyes, oversized forehead, and phobia of bed frames. As a result of being friendless and maidenless, Sinna took an interest in streaming. She dabbled in streaming in 2018, but didn't start taking it seriously until 2020.
How do
She
you
quickly
even like
became known for playing Zelda,
your butt?
Looks like a care package is coming in. Big things in that.
Yes! I feel my strength! I am people!
for disrespecting the Queen.
Where did that come from? What? Where? I have never seen that clip! Wait! Yes, I feel my strength. I am people.
For disrespecting the Queen.
Something
In a
that's
left package.
For disrespecting the Queen.
Pokemon as a best friend, to be completely honest with you, I feel like you're kind of being a hypocrite. The only reason is because you don't. Dude, I'm literally seeing Cutie in person. To be completely honest with you, and to be real with you right now, I feel like you're kind of being a hypocrite. The only reason is because you don't. Dude, I'm literally seeing Cutie in person. Oh my god.
And flirting with her chat.
But I'm looking at you.
For disrespecting the Queen.
Pokemon as a best friend, to be completely honest with you, and to be real with you right now, I feel like you're kind of being a hypocrite. The only reason is because you don't. Dude, I'm literally seeing Cutie in person. Oh my god.
And flirting with her chat.
But I'm looking at you.
Google therapist right now or something. I think I want to.
But she was also slowly becoming known for another less innocent reason. You see, being a young, impressionable 37-year-old Mexican, it only took President Trump saying this.
I love the Mexican people. I love the spirit of the Mexican people.
For Sinna's descent into alt-right ideology to begin.
Bro, come on!
Something that she then slowly started to introduce to her chat in efforts to indoctrinate them. But it wasn't until a certain big event that there was zero doubt left that her commitment to the alt-right cause was genuine.
Got some extra supplies.
Hold on, okay, someone said. I went to get pizza.
Where the fuck was that big?
Right foot. Okay, bad enjoyer.
Where was that mag at? I did not see that.
You got co-sign on January.
Did you mark it and pick it up? Why are you playing this song?
Why puppies leave me a fine local therapist in Austin, Texas?
Pastel de Maracay says, no.
What are you doing? Why are you playing this? You cannot play this song right now. You're gonna get me fucking copyrighted.
Calling in a lifeline package.
One of the hell here, literally forming the capital.
Did what? Hey. No.
Level 3. Shield cell here. Might be something good this
Why do you guys go so quick?
Pass me that shoe.
Say I'm this grumpy old lady. I just don't look like. Wait.
Listen up. The ring be closing in 1 minute.
Dude, she looks like Danny DeVito. I'm pretty sure that's Danny DeVito in a disguise. Okay, are you guys think I look like Danny DeVito? Yes? Okay. This is my memory on the left side. It's pretty sick. Look. So next time we do this, guys, I don't want to leave anything, but I hear there's another convention going on. Like, look at this. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah, Leaks was there, Connor Smith's cat was there. You know what I mean? It was sick.
On January 6, 2021, Plymouth participated in the U.S. Capitol raid, and it turned out to be one of the biggest occasions of her career, as it gave her the recognition she had been desperately seeking.
Why she desperately?
Oh, it's one of my favorite people. Oh, she's so smart. She's an incredible woman. She's a brilliant woman. Doesn't get credit for it, but we all know about that stuff. She's great. She is great. She's a warrior. She's a warrior.
This was also the first time she met fellow content creator and Mario Red Space streamer, Squeaks. And here, a friendship was formed. Ascend and Squeaks bonded with their shared love of the Daily Wire. And they started formulating a plan.
I thought I saw you this. Didn't want this for a pic. We were keeping it well.
You didn't want to ask for a pic, alright? Like it's a convention.
And here, a friendship was formed. Ascend and Squeaks bonded with their shared love of the Daily Wire. And they started formulating a plan. To work together to infiltrate Austin and OTK, ultimately with the goal of radicalizing them and the Nazi
Come
body.
on, Witcher. Say hello.
By 2023, Senna was one step closer to her master plan. Having moved to Austin, living with renowned Twitch mod, Vegito, an insane person, extremely. In Austin, he started collaborating more and more with other OTK members. Even getting to participate in OTK Game Day.
Which I did so good in, right?
I wish I wasn't looking at the cross, probably got stuff on around the back of the girls.
I swear I made one shot. I swear.
going to continue to spread right-wing propaganda to audience on a daily basis, while OTK somehow remained oblivious. And given the lack of Hispanic representation in OTK, on October 28, 2023, Sin was welcomed into the infamous sex tape.
What? Even OTKs! And what? Jump scare. Holy fucking jump scare. It says October 28, 2023. Jesus Christ.
Scrappy DP says, tut.
So he's predicting October 28th, 2023.
Sin was welcomed into the infamous sex tape with open arms, leading up a tape along to a announcement.
Okay, back up. Further. Move back some more. What? Back up some more. I'm as far away as I can get. Okay, have her enter. Action. Oh, damn it. Cut.
Now, there was only one puzzle piece.
Well done. Music has been done. Enemy spotted. Never mind. What's that close? What's that close? Contact close.
Okay, back up. Further. Move back some more. What? Back up some more. I'm as far away as I can get. Okay, have her enter. Action. Damn it. Cut.
Now, there was only one puzzle piece missing to make OTK complete.
Package over there.
Nothing but
Dead. Okay, have her enter. Action. Damn it. Cut.
Now, there was only one puzzle piece missing to make OTK complete.
never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me. Sometimes it's like this love, and sometimes it's like what was that caption? Is that it? You're nothing but stuff, you piece of shit.
So make sure to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Twitch, you know, all the usual stuff. I'm gonna get to make any other content on Twitch or YouTube, but that may change soon.
Bro, is Django here? You also like to be, oh yeah, dude, come on.
Flatline.
You know?
Frag grenade here. Havoc rifle here.
Wait, can I understand? Yeah, there we go.
Hey.
That was literally holy shit. This? Django, are you here? Awesome, Django. You guys go and watch the video.
That was the funniest hit piece I've ever seen.
This is the greatest video of Kid Action. That's my mega streamer international habitat.
That video will go down in history as an absolute masterpiece.
This is an insane video. That might be one of the greatest videos I've ever seen. How much fun did you spend on this? Because holy shit, it's a good part. So whatever part
Ralph Huagati TV says,
First of all,
GG.
time you spent getting all these clips. No need. And also, could you goals on the football thing?
Attack here, squad.
Hello? I wish I was in it. Oh, the rabbit got so good. Rabbit got the girls, the kids, the girls. That's the rabbit back. I wish I was like, it's in nothing, do I think it? It's fine. You know about here all the time. If you back up and even in my dreams, I can feel stuff like
Right? Talking about my height. I'm tall. And also, this right here. Why? You realize you made a joke about an announcement that is not happening? And you spent this amount of time, you could have just left it out and not attacked. You understand, right?
Okay, back up. Further.
He's thinking of stuff.
Move back some more. What? Back up some more. I'm as far away as I can get. Okay, have her enter. Action. Damn it. Cut.
No.
This is, I think, one of the best videos I've ever done. I've gotten some good videos done. I've had some funny songs done of me too. But this might be one of the funniest videos I've ever had, dude. Chat, please go like this video. Unironically, a top 10 video. It's so good. It's actually so good. Go like, go sub. That's a good fucking video. Also, that other clip from me playing Zelda, I don't remember. I've never seen it. That was crazy. That's worse than Duck Dance, I think. I am Beast Mode! Where is it? That's in your foot!
He quickly became known for playing Zelda.
Your foot! Yeah! I feel my strength! My fire! Now I know how I lost my voice. It's when I spoke ill of Pokey, you know what I mean? And I got felt that. Yeah, good time. Real good time. Damn, that was a good fucking video.
Hey everybody, it's Lon Simon. I thought I would do a quick channel update to talk about some things that I'm doing on another channel, NSF, otherwise known as NASA.
Who are you, Mr.
My voice already on
Oh, that was an hour ago. Sorry there, Rebhola.
days down in Florida, touring launch pads and watching rockets take off. And I was hanging out with Das there on the left-hand side of the picture, along with Max and Kevin. And wow, was it a great adventure? I've got
Wow,
all sorts of cool
Mom!
stuff to show
I don't
you,
want
so
to hear
let's
any
get
more
to it.
about NASA.
Oh, Fontaine, I thought they said teaching.
That guy's gone, that one's gone.
Have a used Jeep X8 transmission returns case from this cross member asking $500 offer, don't need and want to get rid of it.
Alright.
Not gonna lie, I didn't hear a word you just said.
Oh, I was reading it to myself. I was reading the Facebook Marketplace post.
Oh yeah.
Size does matter, especially in wrestling. Some of the tallest people in the world are wrestlers. However, companies like WWE and other wrestling organizations have exaggerated wrestlers' height and have used tricks to make them up too big. For example, WWE would put lifts in the bottom of some wrestlers' boots to give them an extra inch or two of height. This is how WWE used to say Kane was 7 feet tall, when in actuality he was much shorter.
Let me just get some basic stats. How tall?
To give them an extra inch or two of height. This is how WWE was able to say Kane was 7 feet tall, when in actuality he was much shorter.
Let me just get some basic stats. How tall are you? I'm about 6'8".
Additionally, wrestlers do usually get shorter as they get older, especially if they have knee surgeries. With all this in mind, we dug through the data and compiled a list of the real tallest wrestlers of all time. Number 20 and number 19 are Big Cass and Commander Aziz. Both of these WWE wrestlers are big dudes, staying at 6 feet 9 inches. Now you might say, this can't be true. After all, whenever Big Cass makes an entrance, Enzo Amore would say,
And this right here, this is Big Cass. And he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that.
However, during an interview, Big Cass would reveal his actual height.
What's your shoot height? Shoot height 6'9". Okay.
Commander Aziz also stands at 6'9", and we can confirm this thanks to his football stats from before he joined WWE. You're probably familiar with the 18th tallest wrestler. Commander Aziz also stands at 6'9", and we can confirm this thanks to his football stats from before he joined WWE. You're probably familiar with the 18th tallest wrestler, but maybe not the 17th. Kevin Nash and Matt Morgan both stood at 6 feet 10 inches. Now Nash has lost some height due to the surgeries he's undergone, but in his prime, Big Sexy was just 2 inches away from being 7 feet. This made the claim of him being a 7-footer pretty believable. Matt Morgan briefly wrestled in WWE in the 2000s, but is probably best known for his time in TNA. The Blueprint really stood eye to eye with the Big Show, and his basketball stats from before WWE show that he was indeed 6'10". Next up on our list is number 16, Kurgan. The giant wrestler debuted in WWE in 1997 as a member of the Truth Commission. However, Kurgan had a huge success as a member of the Oddities. Unfortunately, his WWE career was short-lived, ending in 1999. It's a shame because Kurgan was legit 6 feet 11 inches tall. While his wrestling career ended abruptly, Kurgan has found success as an actor, appearing in films like Deadpool 2. Moving on to the 15th and 14th tallest wrestlers, we now enter the 7-foot zone. Both former WWE wrestlers Eli Cottonwood and Jackson Andrews stood at 7 feet tall. This is confirmed by their stats from when they played basketball. Cottonwood is best known for being a rookie. Kurgan had his biggest success as a member of the Oddities. Unfortunately, his WWE career was short-lived, ending in 1999. It's a shame because Kurgan was legit 6 feet 11 inches tall. While his wrestling career ended abruptly, Kurgan has found success as an actor, appearing in films like Deadpool 2. Moving on to the 15th and
Yeah, someone's mic is making me lose my mind right about now.
WWE wrestlers be like appearing in 1999. It's a shame because Kurgan was legit 6 feet 11 inches tall. While his wrestling career ended abruptly, Kurgan has found success as an actor, appearing in films like Deadpool 2. Moving on to the 15th and 14th tallest wrestlers, we now enter the 7-foot zone. Both former WWE wrestlers Eli Cottonwood and Jackson Andrews stood at 7 feet tall. This is confirmed by their stats from when they played basketball. Cottonwood is best known for being a rookie on NXT Season 2 in 2010, where he was mentored by John Morrison. Jackson Andrews is even more obscure. He debuted in December 2010 as Tyson Kidd's bodyguard. However, he never got to have a match. 3 weeks after his debut, Jackson got a World's Strongest Slam from Mark Henry and was never seen again. Despite this, both he and Eli Cottonwood will go down as 2 of the tallest wrestlers of all time. Next, numbers 13, 12, 11, and 10 are all the same height. 7 foot, 1 inch. These wrestlers are the Big Show, the Great Khali, Shanky, and Andre the Giant. Now, Big Show's height has been questioned, but I feel confident saying that, at his prime, the world's largest athlete was 7'1". While in college, Big Show is listed at this height, and it's reasonable to say he was still this tall. Next, numbers 13, 12, 11, and 10 are all the same height. 7 foot, 1 inch. These wrestlers are the Big Show, the Great Khali, Shanky, and Andre the Giant. Now, Big Show's height has been questioned, but I feel confident saying that, at his prime, the world's largest athlete was 7'1". While in college, Big Show is listed at this height, and it's reasonable to say he was still this tall when he debuted in WCW. Now, these wrestlers are the Big Show, the Great Khali, Shanky, and Andre the Giant. Now, Big Show's height has been questioned, but I feel confident saying that, at his prime, the world's largest athlete was 7'1". While in college, Big Show is listed at this height, and it's reasonable to say he was still this tall when he debuted in WCW. Now, as Big Show put on weight and underwent surgery, his height went down a bit.
This is why Great Khali is a bit taller than Big Show when they stared each other down in 2008. Of course, Khali has also gotten shorter as he aged and isn't nearly as tall as he once was. On the topic of Khali, though, his student, Shanky, is one of the tallest people on the WWE roster right now. Shanky's height is the same as Khali's, and seeing how close he gets to another giant wrestler, Omos, it pretty much confirms it. While these wrestlers are famous, none compare to Andre the Giant. Andre is an icon, both in wrestling and outside of it, but his height has always been questioned. Some would claim he was 7 foot 4 inches, but that isn't accurate. A book released in 2020 called The True Story of Andre the Giant got a hold of Andre's passport, which had his official height. It said Andre was 2 meters 18,
Why you guys
or
so
just a
split
little over
up?
7 feet 1 inch. Now, it should be noted, this is how tall Andre was in his prime. Later in his career, Andre got shorter, mainly due to his health deteriorating. However, there is a photo of Andre standing next to 7'1" basketball player Willett Chamberlain in 1984, and the Giant is almost the exact same height. Now, who could be taller than the Big Show, the Great Khali, and Andre the Giant? Well, it's number 9, 8, 7, and 6. Ron Reese, Giant Zanjeer, Raja Lion, and Giant Silva. All these men stood at 7 foot 2 inches in their prime. Keyword being prime. Ron Reese is best known for his time in WCW when he debuted at the Yeti. Reese shared the ring Big Show at the 1985 Halloween Havoc pay-per-view, where you can see that the Yeti stood an inch taller than the Giant. More recently, an Indian wrestler named Giant Zanjeer joined WWE at around the same time as Shanky. Unfortunately, Zanjeer was released the same year he debuted. While it was a short career, it wasn't nearly as short as Raja Lion. This guy also stood at 7'2", and while his height was impressive, his wrestling skills were not. Not surprising, Raja Lion only wrestled one match, but regardless, he goes down as one of the tallest wrestlers ever. Another man who shares that title is Giant Silva. He's best known for his time in WWE as part of the Oddities, but sadly, his career was pretty short, and he didn't wrestle many matches. Still, he's one of the biggest men to ever step into the ring, which can be seen from this show that Silva and the Great Khali appeared on. Giant Silva definitely earned his name because he was taller than Khali by an inch. Up next is the 5th tallest wrestler of all time, and his name is Omos. This guy debuted in WWE in 2020, and he's already started to make a name for himself. Like many Giants, Omos started as a basketball player before transitioning to wrestling. WWE says he's 7 feet 3 inches tall, and they aren't lying. Omos' basketball stats back this up. The man even makes other wrestlers like Braun Strowman look kind of small. Surprisingly though, there have been even taller wrestlers than Omos. Much taller. The first is number 4 on our list, Silo Singh. In the 1980s, WWE had Andre the Giant. Their rival, AWA, wanted to beat WWE by having an even bigger wrestler, so they brought in a man named Silo Singh. Unfortunately, he wasn't a very good wrestler, but he was definitely tall. While he was announced as being 7 feet 7 inches tall, this number was off by a little. In reality, Silo Singh was 7 feet 4 inches tall, which is still very impressive. However, not as impressive as the 3rd and 2nd tallest wrestlers in history, Paul Bunyan and Giant Gonzalez. These two men were unreal. Giant Gonzalez is most famous for his rivalry with The Undertaker in 1993. The fact that he made the dead man look short demonstrates just how big he was. Paul Bunyan, aka Max Palmer, isn't as well known, since he mainly wrestled in the 1950s. In fact, very few pictures and videos of this giant exist. Both Giant Gonzalez and Paul Bunyan had their heights exaggerated, with some saying they were 8 feet or even taller. In reality, they stood at 7 feet 7 inches in their prime, which is still crazy, but not as crazy as the tallest wrestler of all time. Number 1 is the Willabunch Giant. Born in 1881 in Willabunch, Saskatchewan.
What do you want? Why are you calling me
Not only
that?
the tallest wrestler ever, but one of the tallest humans ever. He became an attraction.
No,
when
that's
he was
not my
tied in the
name.
wrestling ring
Show
under the
some
name the
respect.
Willabunch Giant. Sadly, he
That's
passed away at the age of 23 in 1904 due to tuberculosis.
No.
While the
Did you
Willabunch
call
Giant
me
has
the
been
regular
argued
Scrappy,
for
or did you
success
add
that
some
added
bullshit
that
on
to
the end?
measure at an astonishing 8 feet and 3 inches.
Did I say
To
Scrappy
put that
Dad
in
was you,
perspective,
or-
here's how tall
What is
one
it,
would stand
Scooby's
next
fucking
to the
snacks
Willabunch
over
Giant.
here?
Did you know?
Is that where you
Rick
think it
Hall
came
and
from?
Show once got into a real fight backstage. To find out who won, watch the video on screen.
Is this the middle 90s? You probably don't even know that song, fucking Zoomer kids. Burning down the streets.
Scrappy. All I want is a res when I need res.
And don't talk like that.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's better.
You wanna see my golf shot?
No, I don't give a fuck about your golf shot. Fucking loser.
You don't golf or what?
Is this Sunday? What do you got, a 4 o'clock in the morning tea time? Cool, bro.
Yeah, I seen that bitch. Alright, that's enough with you, man.
I got a big business meeting tomorrow. Let's go make a deal. We just need 1 cart, sir. That way we can sit together.
You're chilling on the side over here on top.
I'll smoke if you smoke, Scrappy. That will be even.
You can't handle what I was smoking.
It's alright.
Go back to your golf cart.
I gotta be so offensive, man. Oh shit, they're right here.
Why are you guys going away from the circle?
Cause I'm fucking bored, man. I just hit a guy for 150.
Okay, great, cool. Are you trying to play ranked and win? Or are you trying to just get not bored and get fucked up over there?
Alright, let's go back to him.
I mean, you can lose, that's fine. I'm just my last game for the night before I go upload some videos, so it's time for me to not die like that.
Alright, Scrappy.
Okay, Billy.
Heard about enough of that. Can't you like flow back and forth like a cool guy? Cool guy. There's a guy knocked here.
What the fuck?
I just ripped that fuck. Good shit, you just knocked the guy, ripped?
Yeah, I just killed the dude you ripped.
Nice. I cracked, what's his nuts?
Dude, this guy's on me right here. He's on me, he's on me, he's on me.
Should have thought of that before you started talking dirty.
I came to you, you dumb shit.
No, you didn't.
I was fine. I could have left and gone to the circle. I came down towards you guys.
No, you didn't.
And then I hit from behind. You're an idiot.
Quit lying to yourself, man. You know you are. You chilling down there? I jumped away.
No, damn it. Dude, fuck, he's right here. Got one here.
Turn your mic off quick. I can't hear.
Oh, shit, no, no.
Here you go. No chance. Shut up, Scrappy.
I didn't say shit to you, you little bitch.
I'm sorry. I felt like I had to.
Yeah, you're a fuck.
Yeah.
You didn't even try and get my card. Yeah, you didn't do shit.
I'm sorry, dude. I tried my hardest.
You didn't try hard at all. You're a dumb bitch. I don't even want you to get me at this point.
It's okay. I'm gonna die here anyway.
I know you are.
Dude, right, there's one.
Wasting my time.
I know. Oh my god, it's only 3 squads. I got stuck there.
Why'd you turn your back on them? Talking about fucking dummy. Got a new nickname for you, buddy. Straight dummy. Ah, what a dumbass. It's time for me to go.